Hello everyone, welcome again. I am Ashwin Joglekar and today I am here with another one-shot video on the chapter Agriculture. Now this chapter Agriculture is from your geography portion. So let us quickly start with this chapter. Now first here we will find some agroclimatic zones in India. Now here on the given map we have shown some of the zones where different kind of agriculture is practiced in India. That is the different regions basically. So according to the Planning Commission of India, there are 15 agroclimatic zones in the country and these are on the basis of agroclimatic features. For instance, according to the soil type, temperature, topography, cropping and farming system of that particular area and water availability of water resources. Alright, so moving on to the next thing, that is types of farming. Now in terms of types of farming, we can simply divide it into two aspects, that is first is your subsistence farming and commercial. Alright, then these are further classified into various subtypes, that is one is intensive, primitive farming, then primitive again can be looked at as shifting and nomadic herding. But here for class 10th we will be only focusing on intensive farming, primitive farming, that is under the subtypes of subsistence farming, and for commercial we will be only focusing at what is plantation farming. Alright, okay. The first point, that is intensive subsistence farming. Now this word subsistence has been there with you since class 9th probably, or probably in class 8th also, because again in class 8th there was a chapter related or named agriculture there also. Now subsistence is something which people require to fulfill their basic needs or basic survival. So that is subsistence. Now intensive subsistence is farming. Subsistence farming is basically on a small plot of land where there is maximum population pressure on a given piece of land, and where again modern methods are used to get the maximum output from that piece of land. This type of farming is practiced in areas of high population pressure on land, and again it is a labor intensive farming where high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used for again higher production. Second is your primitive subsistence farming, that is again as the name suggests primitive. So they in this type of farming basically old methods or traditional methods are being used for farming. It is also known as slash and burn agriculture or shifting agriculture, and also known by different names in different parts of the country as well as in different parts of the world. That is, for example, zooming, it is known in northeastern states. Now it is slash and burn agriculture. The farmers clear a patch of land and produce cereals and other food crops. A plot of land is cleared by felling the trees and then later on burning them, that is slash and then burn. The ashes are then mixed with the soil, and when the soil loses its fertility, these people move to another patch of land and repeat the same process. Now therefore this is also referred to as your shifting cultivation, that is the land is abandoned and the cultivator moves to a new plot of land. Now that is what again zooming, known by different names in different parts of the country. It is known as zooming in northeastern states. Land productivity is low in this type of agriculture, as they are not using much of the modern methods of farming here, because again they do not have the resources to do that. This type of farming depends on monsoon, and farming is practiced in a few parts of India. Now here also zooming is known by different names in different parts of the country, that is you can see here in Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Nagaland, and Pamlo in Manipur, Deepa in Bastar and district of Chhattisgarh, and then in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Then Milpa in Mexico, Central America, Conuco, Venezuela, that is in Venezuela, Roca in Brazil and Masole in Central Africa, Ladang in Indonesia and Rain Vietnam. So this again other names are Bewar, Dhaya, Podu, Penda, all these are different the names of zooming cultivation, which is known by different names in different parts of the country as well as the world. Now moving to the next type of farming, commercial. Now as the name suggests here, commercial farming is basically done to gain maximum profit from a given piece of land, and majorly it is done on large pieces of land, and again modern methods of farming are used here, and also it is a capital intensive That is, a lot of capital is being or is used for this type of farming. This type of farming uses higher doses of modern inputs such as high yielding variety of seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides to obtain higher productivity. Again, the subtype is mixed farming, you can see, where both food crops as well as animal are reared. Now, plantation is a type of commercial farming in which a single crop is grown on a large area. Also, bush or tree farming or monoculture, that is single crop over a large area, and plantation cover tracts of huge land using capital intensive inputs with help of migrant laborers. All the produce is used as raw material again in the industries, and the development of transport network is again an essential factor for the this type of plantation farming. Major plantations are found in tropical regions of the world. Rubber in Malaysia, coffee in Brazil, tea in India and Sri Lanka are some example of this type of plantation farming. Okay. Now, here you can see the difference between, if a type of question is being asked, mention some of the differences between the subsistence or commercial type of farming. So, you can see here, subsistence is basically the farming is practiced to meet the needs of the farmer families, and here it is done for the sale in market. The area on which it is cultivated is small, and here the area is large. It is labor intensive, it is capital intensive. Again, the labor is only provided by the family to a larger extent, and most of the work is done by the traditional and low levels of technology, and most of the work done here are by machines or the migrant laborers. Final output is less, and here final output is more. So, these are some of the points of differences for subsistence farming and commercial farming. Now, coming to the cropping pattern, what India has, that is 3 cropping seasons: Rabi, Kharif and Zaid. All right. Now, for Rabi, the sowing season is winter, that is from October to December, and for Kharif it is the beginning of the rainy season, that is between April and May, and Zaid is a short season again between the Rabi and Kharif season. Harvesting, for this it is from April to June, and for this it is September, October, and here it is harvested in or during it's just for a shorter period, okay, in the months of March to July. Then important crops here are for Rabi: wheat, barley, peas, gram and mustard, and for Kharif it's paddy, maize, jowar, bajra and tur, and here watermelon, muskmelon and cucumber. Now, coming to the next topic, that is what are the major crops in India, and now here we will be looking at first rice, wheat, and apart from that then some of the fiber crops, and then later on some of the horticulture crops which are grown in India, and that is how we will be taking this part now. Major crops in India, that is a variety of food crops as well as non-food crops, are grown in different parts of India depending upon the variations in the soil, climate and cultivation practices. Now, rice is a essential item of food or a staple diet in India. Now, it is a Kharif crop, requires high temperature and high humidity with annual rainfall that is above 100 centimeter. Second largest producer of rice in the world after China, that is India, and it is grown on the plains of north and northeastern India as well as coastal areas and the deltaic regions. Now, again a question can be asked probably for 3 marks or about 5 marks also. Mention some of the conditions which are required for the cultivation of rice. So, here you can see some of the points here, that is a staple crop in India, grown well in hot and moist climate. Geographical conditions are the temperature requirements which have been mentioned, the rainfall requirements as well as the soil which is required and the land type which is required. So, this you have to write in the answer if it is being asked about the geographical conditions which are required for the rice cultivation. All right. Now, moving on to the map portion, that is the distribution of rice, and this is from your NCERT. Okay, these are the major areas where rice is being cultivated, and here also rice is cultivated. Like for example, again rice cultivation in Odisha is a subsistence crop. When in Odisha rice is cultivated, whereas in Punjab when rice is cultivated, it is generally cultivated for commercial use, that is it is used or it is cultivated for sale in the market or into other states. So, it is a commercial crop in Punjab, whereas it is a subsistence crop in Odisha. Now, next important crop is your wheat. It is a rabi crop, requires a cool growing season and bright sunshine at the time of the ripening. Requires 50 to 75 centimeter of annual rainfall, evenly distributed over the growing area or season. The Ganga Satluj plain in the northwest and black soil region of the Deccan are the two main wheat growing zones, and it is the second important cereal crop after rice. Now, here again geographical conditions which are required for wheat cultivation, and on the map portion you can see this is the major area where rice cultivation wheat cultivation is being practiced. Rabi crop, and hence it is basically a winter crop. Temperature between 10 to 15 degrees and at the time of sowing, and then requires bright sunshine at the time of ripening. Temperature must be between 21 to 26 degrees at the time of harvesting. Wheat productivity is good if the rainfall is between 75 to 100 centimeter, and most of the time we receive this winter rainfall, which is again known by different names in different parts, and well drained fertile clay soil and plains are well suited for wheat cultivation. Now, next is millets. Millets is a group that is contains jowar, bajra and ragi are the important millets grown in India, and these are coarse grains and have very high nutritional value. Ragi is like very rich in iron, calcium and other micronutrients, and as well as your roughage. Here you can see bajra, jowar and ragi. Now, geographical conditions for millet cultivation, you can see jowar is the third most important food crop after rice, wheat, and it is a rain fed crop mostly grown in the moist areas and mainly produced in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. About bajra, grows well on sandy soils as well as shallow black soil, and major producing states are Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Haryana. Ragi is a crop of dry regions, grows well on red black soils. Major producing states are Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Himachal, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Jharkhand and Arunachal Pradesh. All right. A bit detailed explanation about maize. Next is maize. It is a kharif crop, requires temperature between 21 degree Celsius to 27 degree Celsius and grows well in old alluvial soil. Maize, again known as corn also, used both as food as well as fodder. Major maize producing states are Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Geographical conditions, temperature between 18 degree Celsius and 27 degree during the day and around 14 degree during the night. But the most important factor is 140 frost free days which is required for this maize cultivation, and therefore the crop is very as you can see susceptible to frost. Therefore, its cultivation is in temperate latitudes is restricted, because in temperate latitudes the amount of frost free days are less. All right. One more crop for which we will require frost free, we will be seeing that, but it is not a food crop. Okay. Next is your pulses. Dal. In India, India is the largest producer as well as consumer of pulses, because of that is most of the people here are vegetarian. Okay. Pulses are the major source of protein in a vegetarian diet, and major pulses are tur, urad, moong, masoor and peas and gram. Pulses are again mostly grown in rotation with other crops, so the soil may restore its natural fertility. Major pulse producing states are Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka. All right. Next is your geographical conditions for pulses cultivation. Crop of temperate climate, ideal temperature for its cultivation is about 15 to 20 degree Celsius and requires a moderate amount of rainfall from 25 to 75 centimeters. It can be grown in drier areas as well as with the help of irrigation, and well drained loamy and clay soils are ideal for the growth of pulses. Now, food crops which other than grains is your sugar cane, again an important aspect of your sugar industry, the raw material most important. It is a tropical as well as subtropical crop, grows well in hot and humid climates, temperature ranging between 21 to 27 and annual rainfall between 75 to 100. Can be grown on a variety of soils, needs manual labor from sowing till harvesting, and India is the second largest producer after Brazil. Sugarcane is the main source of sugar, gur, that is jaggery, khansari and molasses. Again, different forms of which we obtain, and the major sugarcane producing states are Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Bihar, Punjab and Haryana. Now again, geographical conditions which are required for sugarcane cultivation. Tropical plant therefore requires a warm weather to reach maturity, 20 to 26 degrees Celsius, and an average rainfall between 150 are suitable for its cultivation. Next is your oil seeds. Different oil seeds are grown covering approximately 12% of the total cropped area of India. Main among them is the groundnut, is a kharif crop and accounts for half of the major oil seeds produced in the India, and Gujarat is the leading producer in terms of groundnuts. Others are mustard, which is rabi crop, sesamum, which is a kharif crop in the north and rabi in the south India, castor seeds again grown both as rabi and kharif crop, linseed which is a rabi crop, coconut, soya-bean, cotton seeds and sunflower are the other oil seeds. Now moving on to the beverage crops, that is tea and coffee. First one we will be taking as tea, again an important beverage crop introduced by the British in India. The tea plants grow well in tropical and subtropical climates with deep and fertile, well-drained soil, rich in humus and organic matter. Now tea bushes also require warm and moist, frost-free climate all through the year. Tea is a labor-intensive industry. As you can see, most of the tea plantations have both the plantation part as well as the industries which are located there for the processing of tea leaves. Major tea producing states are Assam, hills of Darjeeling and Jalpaiguri, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Geographical conditions which are required for tea cultivation. Tea is a beverage crop, often called the queen of beverages, plantation crop introduced by the Britishers, and geographical conditions are, first is temperature, high temperature throughout the year, frost is harmful for tea leaves, rainfall and annual rainfall which is again essential for the growth of tea, and it is cultivated on slopes, so it does not need stagnant water like rice or paddy. Soil, tea requires a deep acidic and fertile soil. Land, tea is grown on well drained gentle hilly slopes and valley sides. Labor, tea is again a labor intensive crop, requires cheap skilled labor for picking tea leaves. Alright. Next is the coffee. Now the Arabica variety which we have in India was introduced from Yemen, and which is again having great demand all over the world. Its cultivation was introduced on the Baba Budan hills and is confined to the Nilgiri in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Geographical conditions to grow coffee are related to temperature and rainfall. Again temperature is between 23 degrees Celsius to 28 and rainfall again in the range of 60 to 80. Followed by a dry spell of 2-3 months which suits the Arabica variety which was introduced from Yemen. Now horticulture crops. India is again a producer of tropical as well as temperate fruits. Major crops produced are pea, cauliflower, onion, cabbage, brinjal, tomato and potato. Some of the famous are mangoes of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, oranges of Nagpur as well as Cherrapunji, bananas of Kerala, Mizoram, lychee and guava of Uttar Pradesh, pineapples of Meghalaya, grapes of Andhra Pradesh and apple, pears, apricots and walnuts of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal. Okay, these are some of the pictures from NCERT images. Now this is a table, again non-food crops which contains rubber, fiber crops, you have cotton and jute. Alright, so rubber again equatorial crop, again type of plantation, requires a moist and humid climate with rainfall above, that is 200 centimeter. Improvement or important industrial raw material as well as mainly grown in these areas in southern part of India as well as some northeastern states. Fiber, cotton, jute, hemp and natural silk Natural silk is again obtained from cocoons of silkworms, and rearing of silkworms is known as your sericulture, the process. Okay. Cotton is a kharif crop, requires high temperature, light rainfall, 210 frost-free days and bright sunshine for its growth. Again grows well on black soil, and major cotton producing states are Maharashtra, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, etc. Jute, again a golden fiber, which is known as golden fiber, grows well on well drained soils. In the floodplains, high temperature is required for its growth. Used for making gunny bags as well as mats and ropes and other products. Major jute producing states are West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya. Now here I would like to mention two questions, like if you have seen your or done your chapter on manufacturing industries. Now you can always remember that why jute textiles are concentrated in the West Bengal region. Now that one question again of 5 marks is generally most of the time asked in your board exams. So one, you can see that why jute is located or jute production is confined to that region in India, because soil is, the raw material is available, and also the factors are suitable for its production there. Alright, and one more thing about sugarcane, that is also related to the chapter in manufacturing industry, that why most of the sugarcane industries are shifting towards the southern India. Alright, moving on towards technological and institutional reforms. Now as we see that agriculture being a primary activity, and India being an agricultural country, that is most of the people are still employed in this either directly dependent or indirectly dependent on agriculture or this primary activity. Now government has initiated or introduced a lot of reforms for the upliftment of this field. That is, agriculture provides a livelihood for more than 60% of its population, so this sector needs some serious technical and institutional reforms. The Green Revolution, the White Revolution were some of the reforms initiated by people to improve agriculture, as well as the Zamindari system was abolished, Land Ceiling Act was introduced. So all these were methods or measures which were taken or introduced by the government to improve the status of agriculture in India. Apart from this, other initiatives were schemes which are introduced by the government known as Kisan Credit Card, KCC, or Personal Accident Insurance Scheme known as PAIS, or special weather bulletins which are being forecasted about, and different agriculture programs which are being aired on radio and in local vernacular languages for people to understand, and how they can improve their agriculture, or the given piece of land which they have, how can they produce more from that given piece of land, what kind of new crops or new kind of methods in farming they can implement. For farmers, on the radio and television were introduced. Government also announces minimum support price, remunerative and procurement prices for important crops to check the exploitation of farmers by speculators as well as middlemen. So all these nowadays one more concept has come, that this prices will be shown to the farmers on internet, that is e-mandi, right. So now this is a new concept where farmers will not be cheated by these speculators or middlemen, so they will get the right price for their hard work. Now this is a table again which shows in detail about, probably you can take a picture, and has all the important points about each thing, that is first rice, cropping season, temperature, rainfall, soil, features and location. Second is your wheat, then in millets we have jawar, bajra, ragi, maize, pulses. Alright, you can take a picture of this if you want. Next is again about your sugarcane, oilseeds, tea and coffee, same all the things. And this one is about horticulture crops, that is fruits, vegetables, non-food crops, that is rubber, cotton and jute. And this last part of the chapter, this is not the last part, but just a small point which has been mentioned in the chapter, that is Bhudan and Gramdan movement or the Bloodless Revolution. That is Mahatma Gandhi declared his spiritual heir as Vinoba Bhave was his spiritual heir. Now during those at that time, when most of the people were having huge land holdings under them. Now when he was attending a meeting, Vinoba Bhave, a person approached him that he should do something and he should get that his land should be redistributed to the poor, landless people. Now one of the person in the meeting, that is Mr. Ramchandra Reddy, stood up and offered 80 acres of his land to be distributed among the 80 landless villagers. This act was known as Bhudan, when he donated his piece of land. Okay, you can go through this. Now later on, after this incident, when he was Vinoba Bhave was travelling to other places, more zamindars and many other people also came and donated more pieces of more areas of land, which came to be known as Gramdan. So that is how this Bhudan Gramdan movement was initiated by Vinoba Bhave, which is also known as the Bloodless Revolution. All right. So this brings us to the end of the chapter, and I hope you enjoyed this watching this one shot video on agriculture. Thank you so much.